Hi, everyone. This is Lindy Kaiser with ClearanceJobs.com. Thank you so much for joining us for today's interactive webinar with Booz Allen, all about how to take your career to new heights. If you've been wondering how to kickstart, to launch, sorry, can't avoid a good aerospace pun when you have an opportunity like this, or advance your career, this is a great webinar for you. Again, the focus is on being interactive. We have three amazing professionals from the Booz Allen team. They represent a cross section of skills, experience, reference points within the organization. So whatever questions you have, as you have them, type them into the question box of the chat on the right-hand side of your screen. We will get to as many of those questions as we can throughout our time together. Again, the aerospace domain is certainly seeing new challenges, new opportunities, new players in the space. We have U.S. Space Force, NASA, U.S. Air Force, long been a player in this industry. So Booz Allen is going to talk about a lot of those opportunities, the different career opportunities available, different mission sets, kind of values around it, skills, a lot of different areas today, space modernization, IT infrastructure, software development. If any of those terms jazz you up, we have something for you. So definitely check it out, engage with all of the content today. And again, as you have questions, type them into the chat. We will get to as many of those as we can. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We really appreciate your time. I'm going to turn it over to you guys first to introduce yourselves. I used to introduce people, and then they realized I was making up their titles and skill sets. They decided that wasn't a great idea. So it's better if you actually do it yourselves. So to start out, Mika Bell, lead associate and task lead in aerospace global defense with Booz Allen. Can you just spend a few minutes telling us a little bit more about what you do?
Absolutely. Hi, I am Mickey Bell, and as I walk into most meetings, Mickey like the mouse. It doesn't take away the professionalism, but if somebody calls me Nikki or Vicky, then I normally have a little bit of a professionalism break. I was 10 years in the Air Force prior to joining Booz Allen. I did have a two-week stint at another contractor facility. I don't talk about that one, but I have loved every minute of being with Booz Allen for the last 18 years. I'm currently leading a team of 23 Booz Allen personnel with 3 subcontractors. So we've got about 9 different subcontractor personnel under here. Geographically diverse team that I've got rocking and rolling. Over.
Awesome. And next to you, Pat, Chief Engineer and Program Manager for Aerospace Global Defense. Can you just introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi. So my name is Pat Breaker. I am a retired Navy intelligence officer. I spent about 21 years in the Navy, and then I worked for a company called MITRE, which is a research and development center. And before I came over to Booz Allen, and I get to work with Mickey directly on that program she mentioned. So I have 3 major programs that are under my belt. One of them is a special access program. We could talk about that a little bit, and another is a research and development program, and then Mickey's program, the MACE program. And I have about 45 people, most of them Mickey's team, that fall under me.
Great. And now over to you, Olivia. She is a recruiter on the Booz Allen team.
Hi, yes, I'm Olivia. I am part of the nationwide and some global talent acquisition team here. I specifically am right now working in supporting the mountain region that Booz Allen supports. So our clients in Colorado, New Mexico, Utah, Nevada, that kind of thing, and with intel, mission-related defense positions primarily, so a lot of intel analysts, people with military backgrounds, and generally very highly cleared, so probably a lot of you fit into that bucket. And I've bounced around at Booz Allen quite a bit, supporting different teams, but this has been some of my favorite work that I've done, so excited to be here. Thank you for having us.
I love that. And we're already seeing questions come in, but I'm going to go ahead and kick off, get us started with a few questions. So kind of want to talk about what made you choose Booz Allen? I mean, amongst all the opportunities you have, we know that in the aerospace space, as I mentioned before, it's kind of a growing field, commercial space opportunities, defense space. There's a lot of opportunities. Kind of what has made you choose to pursue aerospace within the Booz Allen team? I'll start with you, Mickey.
Absolutely, thank you. So it has been a great almost 18 years working with Booz Allen. And what has really kept me with Booz Allen over transitioning to other firms is they hire you for a career, not for a contract. So I have been able to spend the last 18 years growing with the firm. And when I say growing, starting out actually doing some basic assembly, soldering, depending on who you asked, it might have been considered welding, but starting out with soldering at a breadboard level, putting up to assemblies and having complete systems end to end that I was able to put together myself as part of a team. And then really the satisfaction of knowing exactly who the end user was, because it wasn't just that I was supporting a team and we were putting components together, then we were training people how to use them and they were taking them out and deploying with them. And in 18 years, and you look at it, I've supported offensive counter space missions, defensive counter space missions, precision navigation timing missions, space domain awareness missions. I've been able to support the Air Force, the Army, the Navy, and now I'm getting to enjoy working within the Space Force at the same time. And it's the plethora of it has been is if I spent the first 11 years working at one single location. It was the Rapid Reaction Branch, and we were focused in on urgent operational need, quick turn capabilities. So the enjoying all of the PIDs and highly classified items that you're working on, whether it be a software development item, a hardware development item, now also transitioning to working on cloud development to make sure that you can do that edge processing and as necessary. But it really, as I have grown with my professional development, Booz Allen has also grown with that professional development, supporting the development, as well as giving me job opportunities to support it. Over.
Awesome. So I'll give you the same question, Pat. You get the easy job of going second, so you knew it was coming. So kind of what made you choose Booz Allen and what keeps you there despite the many opportunities in aerospace?
You know, the funny thing is, what made me choose Booz Allen was a Navy shipmate. I was at MITRE and I really wasn't happy with the work I was doing. And a Navy shipmate who I've known since I was an ensign called me up and said, hey, I've got this job here. It's a special access program. I can't tell you anything about it, but you would think it was cool. Why don't you come work here? And so I took a job at Booz Allen and I've been working there since. And you know, it's as Mickey said, it's the growth opportunities here at Booz Allen. I started as the Intel analyst for the program. Then I became the project manager for one of the projects, and then the projects turned to two, and I became the project manager for two. And now I'm the program manager for about 4 different of these special SAP related projects. And then I'm the program manager for the Mickey's program. So Booz Allen's given me just a lot of opportunities to grow and a lot of opportunities to excel and to change. And I got to tell you, what's great is not just the opportunities, but the work environment. I have a team of about 15 engineers who every day they're just trying to do things for, you know, to develop things that are going to be deployed for our warfighters. I think it's a really rewarding work that we do, and what I have found mostly is the reward of watching some of the young folks who we started as interns, now they're becoming project managers for themselves, or well, project manager under my programs. But it's been nice to watch them develop.
So Charlie asked a question about work-life balance, and I don't know if he's a plant, because we had planned to talk about work-life balance, not just because Livia clearly plays both the piano and paints in her free time when she's not working for Booz Allen, but it is a topic that we hear about more and more. I mean, folks are going back into the office, but I think post-COVID, they're looking for a little bit more flexibility within the workplace, and that can be defined a lot of different ways. So I'll ask you first, Olivia, because you have hobbies, obviously. But how maybe does Booz Allen define work-life balance? But then I do want to ask kind of everyone how it manifests in your professional, you know, work environment.
Yeah, I think one of the best ways I could describe it is just to, I mean, it's different for every team because everyone's doing different work. The demands are different everywhere. So I think the best thing that I found is that across the board, there are really competent, smart, trustworthy people working around you. And that's one of the reasons that I love it here. So you can just trust that someone's going to get their job done. If you have a few extra minutes, you can go to the easel and paint. You know, there's just like a trust that the best work is going to be done. I haven't felt a lot of micromanagement, so I've loved that. But then also, you know, of course the work is important, and we'll talk about this again, but we are only as good as our people because we are a people forward firm. So we have to invest in not only our people professionally, but also personally, and take an interest in that, because we can't have our best people leaving if they are not happy with the work-life balance that's provided. So I do think that is a big focus.
And so same for you, Pat, kind of what is work life? How do you define it and how does it manifest in how you do your job?
I get to say ditto everything that Olivia said, just as I said ditto to everything Mickey said. Yeah, you know, I think the great thing right now, the good thing that came out of COVID is this ability to have more work-life balance. Booz Allen is not pushing people back into the offices. Now, I'm in the office today because I work on a lot of classified programs and I can't manage those from home. They don't allow that. So I come into the office, but then tomorrow I will work from home. And last week I went skiing one day with my wife, and then when I got home at like 6 o'clock, I was on the computer till about midnight doing some work. So you have the flexibility to work when you can work and take some time off when not. I'll work on Sunday for a little while to make sure that I'm caught up before the week starts. And you know the phone, you're stuck all the time on the you know, a tether with email or whatever, but it gives you that flexibility to take a couple hours off in the middle of the day, knowing that at 6 or 7 o'clock tonight after dinner, I'm going to catch up and see what's going on. So I think we really value the work-life balance, and we've done a good job of you know, it's kind of, I think it's called managed flexibility is the way we're doing it. You work for where you need to work.
I love that term, managed flexibility. Yeah, Alfredo commented, fantastic. He's a night owl. He's looking for the night shift hours. So it is just nice when you have that balance. So you can do something else during the day and then catch up in the evening. So Mika, same question to you. Kind of how does work-life balance manifest for you?
Absolutely. So what is funny is my team, I was telling them, like, are they going to ask me about work-life balance? And they laugh because, like Pat, I will have something personal to do during the day, and then I will work late at night when I have those available hours. Like, why are you sending things at midnight? I'm like, and I'm clear with my team that just because I'm sending you something does not mean that you respond. I expect you to respond the next day. And I saw it on somebody's response email recently. Like, I respect your work hours. I don't expect to see something until the next day, and that's such a great idea. With our team and how we end up manifesting it is we set some clear expectations of, hey, we have a couple of meetings that we need you to be present for, whether it's in person or a virtual time. And if we have specific tasks, we ask that you be available online from time A to time B. But I really do like the words used. We're responsible adults, and we can trust that we're getting the job done. I happen to also be in the office today. I can either be at my Booz Allen office, I can be over on base at the Peterson office, or I can be working from home. Fully depends on what that task is. And it really is, we always say work-life balance, but really it should be life first and then work. Obviously you have to make sure you got a roof over your head and food in your belly, but it really is put work in a box and get it done as you can and manage your flexibility. Over.
Yeah, we've had a few different questions about career track, so it's probably good to kind of orient the conversation. Aerospace is such a broad term. So if I don't know if either of you can speak to some of the functional areas within aerospace, your team dynamics. Now, Booz Allen is again great for hiring for a career, but within aerospace, maybe how does that look, or do you have any even personal examples of, you know, is it cyber? Is it, we've had a few questions about, hey, test pilot careers, are there UAS? All of the above is usually the answer when it comes to jobs, but I'd love any kind of practical examples of what some of those team dynamics look like. Either Pat or Mika, maybe.
Yeah. If you think that Booz Allen has three major markets, we have our defense market, our national security, which usually is like the intelligence agencies, DIA, CIA, stuff like that, and then we have our civil market. So under the defense market, where Mickey and I sit, you have the Navy, the Marine Corps, the aerospace, and you have Army, markets like that. So under aerospace, it's pretty much everything that flies, including satellites and all the work. So right now, Booz Allen's doing a lot of concentration. We don't build the satellite. We don't intend to do that, but we will work on building the ground system that controls that satellite. My team does a lot of work on PNT, position, navigation, and timing. We don't put the GPS satellites up up there, but we work on protecting the signal that comes off the GPS satellites to protect that so our forces can use it without ever interfering with the civilian signal. We're gearing up right now. I have a meeting, I had a meeting earlier and I have another meeting after this about the big space symposium that's coming up this week at the Broadmoor Hotel. We will be there with our new work doing some virtual machine learning. It's actually, we are gearing up, you know, when astronauts go to Mars, we are practicing now on physiology and how that's going to work so we can inform the missions as they go. So we're, you know, the sky's the limit with aerospace, and we're doing all kinds of stuff.
I'm muted, so I left you in suspense. Did you miss anything, Mickey and Olivia, that you wanted to touch on?
I think Pat did a great job of covering down, and he kind of started to touch a little bit on the AI work and the machine learning to support AI expansion that Booz Allen is really focusing in on, so that we can do either development out for Mars, Intel collects support for military applications, finding signals, keeping signals alive, whether it be satellite communications or other RF-based opportunities. I believe some of the items you said, we also cover cybersecurity. So we help support the entire risk management framework process in an entire life cycle of any type of project life cycle, designing a component, purchasing the component, putting the components together. And that has actually been a pretty large change since I joined. We used to be a real 100% consulting firm, and we've been growing. The growth that Booz Allen has done has started to also bring in some of that manufacturing capability. And like Pat said, we're not building the satellites yet, but who knows how we're going to end up deciding to grow. And it's just growth opportunities all around. I can't think of a job that I haven't seen yet, but we'll see. Over.
Hey, that's to space and beyond. You never know. You can create the next opportunity. But that does tie into a question from Jill, which I think is highly relevant. She talks about AI, ML. These are kind of hot trends or topics. You might have experience or background in those concepts without having like those terms on your resume. Does that make sense? I find that's often in IT. It's kind of a pain point in recruiting, right? Maybe Olivia can speak to this. The government wants 10 years of experience in a technology that didn't exist yet, right? Or some of those trend lines when it comes to technology. So maybe how do you demonstrate, you know, skill set on your resume that's emerging or new that you feel like you have the background for, but you might not have the present capability set for, or even other skills translations or things like that? Are there any? Who wants to take that and pretend it was a question?
I think Olivia.
Yeah, I can do that one. I think it's really about, like, you know, you obviously don't write your resume for the job that you have because you already have that job. You write your resume and you present yourself for the job that you want to have. So that can come in a few different ways. My biggest recommendation would be not even in just writing your resume, but networking with people, in whether that's through LinkedIn or personal connections. We constantly hear the story of, like, how did you find your job at Booz Allen? I knew someone just like you, Pat. I was in the same boat. So I think it's all about networking and then presenting your background to that person and what desires you have in a career. But you can also really, I think, highlight in your resume, whether it's in a summary about yourself or in the way that you present your career path, that shows growth and shows that you might be someone who can build upon skills that you've had in the past, so that, you know, you obviously can be seen as someone who would be able to pick something up. But I think it's okay, like, if you don't have that skill, to put in your small summary at the top, I am interested in AI, machine learning, you know, because X, Y, and Z, I have these skills that will help propel me, and I am someone who picks things up quickly. Let me, you know, show you how I can do that. And then you have a conversation with someone where you can really dive deeper into that. But I think it's okay to put something on your resume in a way of capturing attention instead of presenting that you already have those skills. I don't know if that helps, but.
Yeah, no, I think that's helpful. And then there was another question Alfredo asks about opportunities in manufacturing production. I do think aerospace, you mentioned like, you're not building satellites, but it is this broad term that catches a lot of interest areas. Like, are there actually, you know, manufacturing opportunities within this career track within Booz Allen?
I know down in Florida, we have got the one location, and that was the one that came to my mind, and I forget the level of manufacturing they're doing down in the Florida area. Pat, do you recall?
Yeah, Mickey had alluded to this earlier. Booz Allen is 110 years old, and we, for the longest time, have been a consulting company. Recently, probably within the last 15, 20 years, we've moved more into engineering solutions. Like we said, we're not going to build the satellite. We're going to build the control system that makes it better. We're not going to build the F-35, but we will make the widget that makes it better. So there is some. And actually, if you kind of look over my shoulder there on my board, Phoenix is a project that we're leading. It's a R&D project where we are trying to make something that will be an actual physical product. Now, we will never get to the manufacturing of that. We will probably outsource that to another company to do that. But it is research and development work. And once we get to the prototype, we're going to toss it over to someone else to make for us. Fingers crossed.
Adjacent to that, we also have a ton of opportunities in like logistics, or like which part of manufacturing and production are you interested in? If it's the actual hands-on, then there might be opportunities there, but there's so much around that those skills can really help in opportunities like looking at data about failed missions or safety and that kind of thing, and then applying your production or manufacturing skill set to an understanding of how do we then fix that or make recommendations to a client that's not necessarily using your hands in the manufacturing of it, but more adjacent manufacturing, I guess.
Yeah, I love, and the last time we did an aerospace focused webinar, I mean, it was the excitement around being able to solve a big problem, like you talked about, Pat, and then build that out. And even if you're, you might not see the execution today. I mean, the long form is like you will, that you're helping, the government solve a problem, and you might see the technology you're building, and that's enabling a satellite that's up there. It's enabling something that's going on with the government, and that kind of mission focus that you have is something that's really unique to this kind of community and opportunity, and a real differentiator between the commercial sector. Now, we did get a question. Joshua asked about, hey, do potential government shutdowns have an impact on what Booz Allen does? This is where we kind of talk about the commercial sector versus government, right? You have kind of a little bit more career safety net. If we could just get them to stop talking about government shutdowns all the time. But it's worth talking about because those are kind of things that candidates do ask about. So is that something that comes up in conversations at Booz Allen, even probably related to some of your projects or planning timelines?
I'll start with it. So been with us for almost 18 years and I have never not received my paycheck. So it is an advantage of working for a contractor company such as Booz Allen is every single time that this has come up, Booz Allen about a month ahead, 2 weeks ahead, 3 weeks, 2 weeks ahead has always said, do not worry, you will be taken care of. The joy of the global firm, provide training opportunities that throughout a duration, if there is an actual shutdown, we've got enough additional contract work. You could go support a different team for a short period of time if that's possible. But working at Booz Allen, we did just fine. We were able to continue to work forward. I have had my peers at other companies that went home and did this and did not get paid while they were twiddling their thumbs. And it was nothing I could do for them, obviously, but it really made me appreciate being a Booz Allen employee over a different business.
Yeah. I'll tell you, sometimes where it affects us is when when a government wants to do something, they'll put out an RFP, a request for proposals, and we'll put together a proposal team, we'll bid on the proposal, and if we win it, sometimes you expect that we win it today, we expect the program to start next month, and then a government shutdown occurs, and that program won't get funded. So it's usually the new work that is affected more so than the continuing work. The continuing work is already budgeted, it's already planned out. They've already given us the funding and the direction to go ahead. It's often when we have that new work that we can't do that. But as Mickey said, I've never not gotten a paycheck. I've never had a issue. I've had where a stop work, where they tell you stop working on this project, but then I just shift focus to another project for a short period of time.
Oh, and that really speaks to the value of how Booz Allen hires, right? Which really is a lot different than a lot of other government contractors where you're hiring for a career, because probably that is like why, why somebody asked about that, because that government shutdown, if you're hired on an RFP and something stops on that, and then they're going to drop you until they get funding. But where Booz Allen has the bandwidth, the breadth, those 110 years of experience, that they can drop you into a different opportunity and make sure you're still getting paid and you're still bringing value to, to a solution that is still funded or has something going on where they can keep you at work. Yeah, and Timothy asked about how much do you work on concepts and requirements development?
Mickey, that's you.
Hey, that's pretty much 98-ish%, maybe closer to 90% of my work. So now we do the ConEP on my current contract. We develop ConOps, ConEMs, and TTPs that are able to go ahead and deploy out very specific mission sets. I have supported in previous Booz Allen work as well. Yeah, the joy of trying to get planes, trains, automobiles, and ships all to coordinate in a single qualifying validation event. I apologize. Validation event with the Joint Test Agency is not always the easiest thing, but it is a fun challenge to work, even when it is scheduled for May of 2020 and you're right there and then suddenly you can't execute it. It was a lot of fun to plan it, and we still got at least a tactics bulletin out of it versus a new TTP. Over.
If
the
I could
joy
just,
of working government.
A lot of the joy of working in government, but there's also, it depends on what you're doing, because there's some really cool things. So like with the MACE program, that's what we do. But this program another program that I manage, it's called Viking. It's a SAP program. We don't really have much in the way of requirements. The government's given us a timeline and a set, and they come to us and say, can you do X? And we test it for about 6 weeks to try to figure out, can we do it? And if the answer is yes, then they give us a contract to actually do that. But the requirements, then we write our own requirements for what we think we can do. And they'll come to us sometimes, or we'll go to them and we'll say, hey, we think we can do this. And they'll say, prove it, test it. And if we can, then they'll give us a contract and we'll write our requirements and then answer our requirements. So it really depends on at what level you're working, how big the project is, and how close hold the project is.
And that is,
go ahead.
Sorry, and that is a good point as well. As we can talk about doing requirements for our own development, Booz Allen also will be supporting the requirements development for the JSIDS process to get them entered into doors and to support model-based systems engineering linkages all the way down the lifecycle pipeline. Over.
See, that's how collaborative that Booz Allen culture is. They don't even need me moderating. Pat and Mickey are just solving problems on this call. I think during our 10-minute wait time, they were planning things. They were executing problem set solutions just in that 10-minute window. They're like, we've got time to solve some of the nation's problems right here, and they're going to take advantage of it. So we've had a ton of questions coming in, kind of asking about different. Hey, I'm XYZ, are you hiring me? So I'm a veteran, will you hire me? I'm a career, transitioning intelligence officer. I'm a non-veteran, do you want my skill set? I think that points to the diversity of teams that you're building. So maybe you can speak to that. What kind of does that team culture look like? Veterans, non-veterans, people from diverse backgrounds, experiences. I know that's a big part of the culture. Why is that important to the culture, and kind of how does that look? Because I know Booz Allen is, it's your teams are built up with a lot of veterans, but also a lot of non-veterans, a lot of folks coming from different backgrounds.
Okay, I'll start. So it's actually something we look at being very inclusive and diverse as you look for skill sets, and it literally even sources all the way down when you start putting out the initial requisitions when you're looking for new hires to make sure that you're utilizing the terms that are inclusive in who you're actually going to be have as candidates that are offered up to you. Within my team, you see, I've got part of my team is younger than my own kids. Part of my team is older than my own parents. So I have a gloriously diverse. No. So I got someone, but either way, so a glorious diverse team. Single, married, kids, no kids, pets. We have cat people. We have dog people. Diverse ethnic backgrounds as we look at it as well. And it is crucial to be able to collaborate and have that viewpoint from I'm not going to say younger or older because I've been at both spectrums at one point in my life, but having that diverse and inclusive environment so that you have understanding of, well, I've got this new idea. Hey, that's a great new idea. What about this? I've done that before, or being able to marry those to come up with a solution that actually gets things done. You only do better.
Yeah, and I just touch on that. Booz Allen is really big, emphasizing our DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion work. We have 5 employee communities that people can join, or people can be an ally to. And those communities then try to put together events or speakers or work to be able to. I was the co-chair of the military and veterans group, and we had a program where we made sure that anyone who was the spouse of a military member and that military person got orders to another place, we tried to keep the spouse with Booz Allen by finding them new work in the new location. So it's that kind of stuff that we do, and it really makes the team strong. I mean, I'm a 60-year-old military veteran, you know, we take somebody on Mickey's team, Darren. She's a young 20. God, if she's even 22, I doubt it, but she's a 22-year-old African woman. We have just totally different viewpoints. She can do whiz around her apps on her phone that I don't even look at, and it's just a totally different viewpoint for problem solving that really makes the team stronger when you have that.
Yeah, that's great. And I think if you look across the opportunities, you're looking for people from diverse backgrounds and experiences. And again, kind of Olivia, spoke to that, like, finding your way into that position, reflecting kind of the work you want to do on your resume is going to make you stand out, and that's going to, get your foot in the door, regardless of what that background happens to be, whether it's military or non-military, or something else. So I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about skill sets, because that always comes to mind. So it's always easier a little bit in the just tech only. People are always asking about certifications. What certification do I need? Again, aerospace being this broad term though, but when it comes to hey, I really know I want to support the space mission, what are some of those in-demand skill sets? Are there certifications that pertain to, specifically kind of the aerospace community, or things that you're looking for that are in demand, or what does that look like?
The interesting thing is that there are a lot of skill sets, like CISSP or your PMP certification. All those things are good to have. What's really the most important thing, though, is just continuing education. This is a great timing for this slide to come up here. We really emphasize that you should always be trying to learn something new, and working towards either some kind of certification or some kind of additional degree. To work on this particular project, I had to have my PNP, my professional project management professional certification, and Booz Allen paid for me to go to it. I have a bunch of folks who are working on an electrical engineering skill, and they all had to get trained on how to use an electrostatic discharge bench, and we sent them all off to training for properly of handling of different items. I don't know all the different. Mickey, you probably know better than I do the different certifications that people should have for the technical skills, but it's the continuing education that is really the important part.
And Pat, you really did hit on it. It depends on the job you're going to be doing. You hit the security plus concepts, being cloud engineer capable, whether it be an AWS certified practitioner, an Azure certified practitioner. A specific contract that while we're hiring you for a career that will have requirements for a specific contract. But even when I hire when we've been hiring folks to come support the MACE team, it is, you've got some core capabilities. It's nice if you have a couple of certifications, but it is that drive to not stagnate, to continue to learn of, well, I know Azure, but you're working on AWS. I'm happy to go learn AWS, and Booz Allen supports that growth exponentially. We can't quote off here the 15 different certs you have to do the aerospace job, because the aerospace mission is, I mean, I don't know how your cloud engineering practitioner is going to help you if you're doing hardware development for the Mars rover. So over.
And I'm going to make you respond on this one too, Olivia, because we'll kind of talk about what training and upskilling looks like at Booz Allen, and then we'll segue kind of into that kind of career journey, candidate journey, what those opportunities look like.
Yeah, I think like Mickey said, like there's no way to spell out the true requirements that are, everyone must have, because not only are the people evolving, the requirements are evolving, the programs are evolving, what Booz Allen is going after is evolving. So I think when we look to hire people, we look for people that want that evolution in their career, the upskilling, the reskilling. And so we offer, you can see on this slide, these are a couple different things that we offer. It is not a comprehensive list, at Booz Allen, but the Tech Excellence program, for example, is a program where we have a cohort that is learning. A lot of it is data science related, AI and ML. So it's for people who don't have that skill. And you mentioned someone on this call who's interested in that. This Tech Excellence program would be a perfect thing for you. Generally, they're like a 7-week program where you're just deep diving in a skill set that you do not have. And then after that program, we find billable work for you. The flexible education is maybe what you used, Pat, for your PMP. It is financial assistance for Booz Allen employees to go get things like certifications, further education, go to conferences, whatever it might be that can help further not only your career, but the work that we do as well. So a lot of these things, it's just so important, and it's mutually beneficial for us to spend time and effort and energy on our people, because it improves the quality and the modernization and the, everything about our work. So it's something that Booz Allen is really focused on. Back to you, Lynn.
Can you speak to the candidate journey then too? Because I know we get a ton of questions about that, and we have got some questions about, hey, how do I make my resume stand out? How do I get contacted by a recruiter? Those are always popular questions.
Yes, for sure. So see, this is the kind of the candidate roadmap of what to expect at Booz Allen. So we have created a recruiting approach that is very candidate centric. So we've inserted a ton of checkpoints throughout a journey with us to get feedback on what's going well, what we can improve on, and ultimately what's been shared by our talent community and our candidates is the importance of transparency through the process, relationships being a main focus. So we try to provide as many resources as we can so that you know what to expect, when to expect it, and who to expect it from. So I'm sure a lot of you have looked at our careers website. We have also tried to make that as candidate friendly as possible, providing filter options by function, keyword, clearance, location, and even remote opportunities in this new world. And so if that's what you're seeking, you can even filter by that. So if you see a position that aligns with what you're looking for, you can apply. And then a recruiter will reach out to you if there is a match. If you do not see something that you're interested in at the time, but you are interested in Booz Allen, we do have something called the talent community. So there you can share more detail about what you're looking for, what you're interested in, so that then you can be contacted by someone should a need like that arise. But ultimately we understand, and we've all been there, everyone on this call, everyone listening, a job search is a super daunting task. So we've tried our best to centralize our resources to make your experience, as a candidate with Booz Allen as seamless as possible. So on our careers page, you'll find more details about the candidate experience. We even have interview tips, benefits information, and other resources to get you started thinking about being a candidate with us, interviewing with us, but also thinking more holistically what it would be like to be an employee with Booz Allen. So yeah, just hope you take advantage of all of those resources that we've prepared. And back to you, Lindy. I think that's all I've got for this one.
No, I think that's great. And it's good to give people an overview. It does, come down to timing a lot of times. I always say with candidates, just because you're not a fit for a position today or you apply and you somehow don't get a reach back, I mean, the process does favor the persistent. It does come down to timing, especially with government contract requirements, and the needs shift, right, over time, as you guys seen on your teams. So I kind of want to talk, I'm going to make Mickey and Pat talk about, you spent long enough in this career to be able to see some amazing things or amazing projects or have moments where I know you've accomplished things and gotten to see it come to fruition. Can you give at least one example maybe of a time in your career at Booz Allen where you worked on this project that you were really proud of, that made you really excited?
Go ahead, Mickey.
Awesome. Was it no? My I adore. I've actually loved everything I've done. One of my funnest moments that I worked on was 2012. There I was, 2012. Gosh, that was more than 10 years ago. But there I was. Let me put it into perspective. When I say I was raised country, I used an outhouse till I was about 12 years old, and I was happy to go to my grandmother's house so I could have running water. So I was raised a little bit more country than most. Wanted to be an astronaut when I grew up. When I joined the Air Force, I ended up doing cool nuclear stuff and then I'm doing some satellite communication items. But there I was. Let me see. I was in Japan, but I had coordinated a multi-continental event that was Secretary of Defense approved. So I had people in Japan, Korea, Germany, Italy, and the US. I'm trying to make sure I'm catching them all. Yep. All these people coordinated utilizing satellite communications for a new capability that I had helped design literally from the ground up. We had developed some requirements because we knew there was a need. We bought the equipment, we built it, we tested it in the US, we tested all these little places individually. We got approval to do this coordinated test. Got the test, obviously it kicked butt because the team that we were working on got the test event, and then I got to help that actually be deployed, and it was deployed out doing good things, and that was awesome. And then my husband was in the military at the time, and he deployed. And the very thing that I had taken from breadboard design, development, test, and operational was helping keep him safe so that he could come home to me, which by the way, he did, thank goodness. So that was my wow moment of a awesomeness because I did this, and then it helped protect, obviously I care about all people, but it helped protect someone that very, very near and dear to my heart for 22 plus years. Over.
It's not a Booz Allen webinar if somebody doesn't make me cry a little bit. Mickey, way to go. Try to talk to Pat. Good luck. No.
Yeah, the problem is that's why I said Mickey go first, because most of our greatest successes are in programs that I can't really talk about. But what has been very nice is to work on it's kind of piggybacking off of what Mickey said, it's to work on a program and bring it from someone had a good idea to briefing it to the government, and they say, okay, here's X amount of $1 million to develop it. You work on it for 2 years, you take it. We went out to the Idaho Falls National Laboratory. We set up tents, we set up a thing, and we tested it, and it worked. And the government took it then, and we have seen things happen then in the world, and we try to, something will happen, and we say to ourselves, I wonder if that was our program that caused that to happen. And that's really satisfying in that same way, because like Mickey, and like a lot of Booz Allen folks, a lot of my friends, my son was in the military. My daughter-in-law, who he met when he was in the military, they were both in the Navy. The best friend, the guy who brought me to Booz Allen, Kenny, his son is a Navy SEAL. So we have a lot of connection to the military, to the warfighters who are out there now, and knowing that we have done something that is going to protect them, to prevent someone else's missile from hitting them, is really as rewarding as it gets.
I love those. I mean, that's really what it is about. I think we have these conversations. There are a lot of places where you can spend a career, but to be able to do it within this industry and this community. I think that's why, people feel so passionately about the work that they do, because you get to see that you're making a huge difference and an impact. It ties into what you said, Pat. There's a lot of projects you work on you can't talk about. Several people have asked about security clearances. Do I need a security clearance to work in this industry? Does Booz Allen sponsor clearances? What about clearance upgrades? Maybe Olivia, you could touch on that a bit. Oh, I think you're muted.
I'm muted. I double clicked. Yes, so there are opportunities from no clearance to ability to obtain a clearance, all the way up to a full scope poly. So, and everything in between. So I think it matters, what do you have now? What do you want to get? There are opportunities once you're in Booz Allen to work on other things that might be able to sponsor the poly. There are oftentimes also that we hire someone with, let's say, a secret clearance, but the program needs a top secret clearance, and we would upgrade that person to that. It really hinges on what the client can support, the timing of the work, when it needs to get done, because those things can take time. But there are opportunities that run the gamut in terms of clearance. So it depends on what you're looking for and what you have right now.
And then Diane said, she mentioned, hey, I've been applying for jobs. I have a couple of certifications. I have a high interest, but I feel like I'm not standing out. I'm not a standout. So I always love hearing from folks who are hiring managers or manage in this space. Like, are there just some kind of standout qualities, whether it's soft skills or hard skills? Sometimes people come to the table. This happens a ton in the intelligence community. You can have like the written down, some of the hard skills, but there are some, intangible soft skills that sometimes really kind of help you set yourself apart in a job interview or making it on to the next step. Can you open the floor, but do any of you think of like there's just standout skills that are really helpful to have on your teams?
Yeah, I mean, when I think Olivia had said this, you write a resume, when you really need to tailor that resume to the job that you are applying for, and make sure that you have the buzzwords in there, because a lot of those resumes are now read by AI, and it's not a person who's screening through all the resumes. But when you get to the interview stage, if you get to the interview stage, what I'm looking for is not someone who is the best person at X. What I'm looking for is someone who can do X, Y, Z, and is willing to do those other two. I interviewed someone one time, and we asked a question, and their answer was no. We said, can you do this? Or do you have any experience in this? And they said no. And we waited. We all kind of like leaned forward, waiting for them to say, no, but I've done this in the past, which is similar, or I've learned a little bit about it, or I can figure that out, or it's very similar to this, or whatever. I want someone who's going to show the initiative to say, I don't know how to do that, but I can learn it because I learned this, and I learned this, and I learned this. You really need to be a multi-dimensional person, and you need to be enthusiastic. Often we have interviewed people, and we brought them out for a visit to see how they fit in with everyone else in the lab, because it's a very small environment. People are sitting on top of each other half the times. And then after they leave, I turn to the people in the lab and I say, is this person a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Is this person who would mesh in nicely with the way we do our work? And generally that's been really good. You really need to be that kind of multi-dimensional player.
Great. That is a great way to put it, Pat. And as you look at that multi-dimension, being the proactive, driven, collaborative player, we don't want someone that's just going to sit at my computer and I only code this one thing and then I'm done and I hand it off and I don't look at the team around me. It's what needs to be done. I've got this one piece of Linux that needs to be coded. I realize I'm using code as an example. But that piece of code has inputs and outputs. It's got its gazintas and gazaltas, depending on if you're talking hardware, it's gazintas and gazaltas. If you're talking software, it's your APIs. And we need people that are that same way. And Pat, we do same thing when we're looking at hiring somebody onto my team. I've got a list of things that I really like them to be able to do. Some must-haves, and then some it'd be nice to haves. I can do X, Y, Z. I haven't done that, but that seems really interesting. You're like, oh, well, that's nice. And always asking the questions of, expect if you're in an interview, please talk about something you've overcome. And being able to say, I had one of my sysads went through, well, I shut down the entire server room one time and it took me 8 hours to bring it back. I'm like, all right, we're all humans, hopefully. We're all humans coming up for these jobs. So it's being able to face a diverse moment, to be able to diversity and overcome it, and having the drive and the proactive learning, that drive to learn is really important. Over.
Yeah, no, I love that. We talk all the time in the security clearance process. There's no such thing as a perfect person. The government's not looking for perfect people. They know they don't exist. It's the same thing kind of with the job application process. There's no perfect candidate, but there is a capable candidate, a candidate that's willing to grow into the position, grow with the firm. And that ties in with what Booz Allen's really hiring for, because they don't want you just for just this specific job. And that might be kind of a mindset shift for some applicants coming in to say, hey, if I want to, grow with this career, they're going to want my potential. They want me for the next job, not just this job. So displaying that can maybe help you set yourself apart in the job application process. We're nearing Olivia's in.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one thing, that I feel like very often when we open a new position, my brain as a recruiter and our sourcing team, we're thinking about like, who have we talked to in the past? Who have we interviewed in the past that we loved, but we just didn't have the right opportunity for? So I think like looking at opportunities where you're speaking to someone and it didn't go well, or it wasn't the right fit, that's not a failure. It is an opportunity to make a connection with someone and for them to continue to think about you as an option for upcoming work. So I just want to present that as like how my brain as a recruiter, and sometimes our hiring managers are like, hey, Olivia, I talked to this person a year ago for a job, but I think they'd be perfect for this one I'm about to open. So that's just one way to think about like engagement with us is, for now, and it's for the future as well.
I love that. And again, we're nearing towards the end of our time. I want to give everyone a chance to kind of give, a little bit of an overview or close us out. So again, the focus is aerospace careers. Kind of why is this a great place to land? Both Booz Allen Booz Allen specifically, and aerospace broadly, if you're looking for your next career opportunity. I'll start with you, Olivia, and then we'll go around again.
I think
why choose Booz Allen?
Yes, choose Booz Allen because I've said this before, and it sounds like such a basic need, basic requirement in the Maslow's hierarchy of needs for a job. You're surrounded by people that you can trust, very competent people, people that when you hand something off to someone that they're going to get the job done and get the job done well. That's one of my favorite things about the people that I'm surrounded by, but also these stories. I mean, I'm really inspired by, I'm not always involved in the client work like Mickey or Pat. So I'm really inspired to hear like the actual application of the work that we do in the real world, affecting people's lives. And so I think that the mission that we support and that we so fiercely support in all the work that we do is really inspiring. And it's just, you come from a perspective of making a difference every day, and whatever you're doing, whether you're hiring and, interviewing people, or you're making one little widget or whatever it is, it's all going towards these larger goals that are making a huge impact. So that's one of my favorite things.
Same question for you, Pat.
Yeah, Olivia used Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I want you to picture instead a Venn diagram. This is something I tell everybody who's on. Yeah, this is something Mickey's heard about a dozen times. I tell everybody on my team, picture a 3-circle Venn diagram. What you really want in your career is you want to be challenged. You want to know that what you're doing is something you need to learn. You need to every day. You need to work on it. You need to question. You need to do new things. You want to be rewarded. You want rewarded isn't just a good salary and good benefits. It's also knowing that what you're doing is important. It's having your boss pat you on the back and say, hey, that was really good. You did a great job. And then the 3rd circle is you want to be content with your work environment. You want to like the people. You want to like the company. You want to, I literally had a friend who at 4 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon would curse that tomorrow was Monday. The next day was Monday, and he had to go back to the office. And I hate that. And if where those 3 circles overlap, that's the sweet spot. And I've told everybody on my team, if you're not in that sweet spot, you need to come to talk to me, because I need to do what I can as a leader to get you into that spot. And that's where I am at Booz Allen, and that's where I hope all my team is. Mickey's nodding her head, so I hope that's correct for her and her team.
And I'll marry right into what Olivia and Pat are saying. It is the people that work at Booz Allen, because Pat is one of the leaders that I was moved to Pat recently, and I have loved, I say recently, I guess it's been 2 years now, and it has been a joy to be able to be mentored by Pat, to be led by Pat, and have my team grow underneath of him. Because when he talks about his Venn diagram, it was one of the first things he did when he met the team. So he set the expectation, and he was, as the program manager, my job is to work for you so that you are supported in your career and in your personal life as much as we can. It's the people at Booz Allen. We care about the mission we're doing. We want to do it well, and we want to succeed as a team. Over.
Yeah, there's no Sunday scaries at Booz Allen. Right, Pat?
I love that. And I love this, how those two things go hand in hand. Like when you feel supported and you feel valued as a person, that work product displays that. So I think Booz Allen is known for the high quality of its work, for making mission impact and doing great work. Great work with great people is kind of a good way to live. So check out Careers with Booz Allen, careers.boozallen.com. If you're on this webinar, we send you more information. Again, we always get a ton of questions about, hey, how can I stand out, or how do I get contacted? Again, I always say persistence, being proactive, being on webinars like this, searching for the right opportunity. These careers need amazing people. We are grateful for amazing companies like Booz Allen, for amazing people like Olivia and Mickey and Pat, and appreciate your time today for sharing more about your career, how you got here, and what you're doing for Booz Allen. So thank you to all of our panelists. Thank you for all of our participants for your questions, and thank you so much for your time today. Bye.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you.